What's up, everyone? I am ND Sean 45,
And I am Ryan, Week Zero Productions for Vel.
and this is the Fighting Irish Power Hour. Welcome, everyone. And like I said in the promo for this video, here it is in the comment section. Just posted now. This is a special edition of the Fighting Irish Power Hour where you, the viewers, will get a chance to come in here to the show and talk to us. In the description box below, or the description box, the live chat, that is the link to get in. So anybody has something they want to talk to us about, there's the link. Hit it, come on in, and say what's on your mind. Now, yeah, a few different things. Well, only the one different thing. I'm at a different angle here because I'm trying to limit this glare on my glasses as much as possible. I mean, Ryan, is it looking all right? I mean, it looks good to me, but
It looks good to me.
okay. I mean, I guess I'm just gonna have to get cataract surgery or something. Because that glare, I mean, that glare has been driving me crazy on these shows for a long ass time now.
Hey man, that's why I don't wear glasses. Can't wear them.
You lucky bastard. That's the thing. I have to wear them to be able to read comments and all that good stuff. So, but yeah. Anyway, Ryan, it has been a very interesting couple of days, to say the least, for Notre Dame football, hasn't it?
I think that's just putting it lightly.
I know,
Just a
right?
little bit. Just a little bit.
Well, that's the thing. When you do a show like this, and with what I have on my mind right now, oh, you got to start light. You can't just give it all away from the start. So I have my thoughts on this, but let's just start small here. So the drama with Andy Ludwig from Utah. You know, it turns out that he ends up not coming here, and you hear all these ridiculous. I'm trying to think the right terminology. Trying to think of the right ways to describe this. I mean, I guess the only word was drama. Drama.
Yeah, man, and I was trying to keep up at it the best I could, and I just seen the reports that Andy Ludwig was supposed to be expected to be hired as the Notre Dame offensive coordinator, and I kind of had mixed feelings about it because while I like Andy Ludwig and what he's done at Utah, especially the last few years, the development of Cam Rising, their quarterback over there, back-to-back Pac-12 champs, obviously he's doing something right over there. But the thing with me, and I think Notre Dame kind of dodged a and tell me, you guys call in, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think Notre Dame dodged a bullet a little bit because I think his style, where he's a guy that has publicly said he doesn't like to recruit. He is very old style. He doesn't fit in terms of like Notre Dame has a lot of younger coaches. He's in his 50s, so that's the kind of disconnect. So I liked the hire in terms of the in-game stuff, on the field stuff, but in terms of where he fits and what Freeman likes to do and what Freeman wants to do, which is recruit, it doesn't match well. But getting into the buyout stuff, I don't like our fans, completely being, oh, I'm gonna go be somewhere else. I seen fans starting like a fan transfer portal for Notre Dame fans and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've seen stuff like that.
And although I do agree with them in terms of, Notre Dame doesn't. I wouldn't say they're not serious about football, but to say that a $4 million buyout is out of Notre Dame's, like they can't afford that, is just be silly because we know Notre Dame has millions and millions and millions of dollars. I mean, hell, Alabama paid Tommy Rees to be the highest paid offensive coordinator in college football. So they obviously don't care. Why should Notre Dame care? If they really want to compete and you want the best coaches you can get, why aren't you opening that pocketbook? And we see this year to year with Notre Dame. We'll get a really good offensive coordinator, defensive guy. and Notre Dame lets him go
I
because
don't
they
know if
don't
you
want to
saw
open the
this or not.
pocketbook.
I don't know if you saw this or not, but Notre Dame actually, the administration was going to pay Ludwig's buyout. Did you
Oh,
see that?
okay. I didn't see that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and a lot of fans haven't either. A lot of fans haven't. This is honestly for the past 2 days, and I think this is a good time to bring this up. What I've seen out of our fan base, and I'm not trying to generalize, but there is a lot of people, we'll put it that way. There's a lot of people in our fan base that have been going complete ape shit over this,
Mm-hmm.
calling the administration cheap and Swarbrick's afraid to spend money, blah, 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 blah. And the articles that have been written, oh my God, dude. I'm surprised I'm not on a steady diet of Tylenol right now because I've got nothing. And
Let me
absolutely,
ask you this really quick, Sean, because
yeah.
we talked about this last show. A lot of Notre Dame fans and a lot of media people look at Notre Dame now as a stepping stone job.
Oh yeah,
And
I've seen a
if
few
you,
articles.
but Sean, hear me out. I'm
No,
not saying I agree with it.
I'm saying I've seen a few articles. That's all
I'm
I'm
not
saying.
saying I agree with it because I don't think so. I think if Notre Dame's open, that's one of the most, that's one of the top jobs available. But we've seen a pattern of this in the Brian Kelly era and now the Freeman era of Notre Dame has a really solid defensive coordinator, has a really solid offensive coordinator. They stay there for a couple years and they walk. There has never really been that continuity at Notre Dame. And it does make you wonder, is it because these guys don't view Notre Dame as a priority job? Is it because Notre Dame's not giving them the money that they want? What what is making these coordinators and coaches now with Brian Kelly leaving want to leave Notre Dame in terms of quote unquote greener pastures? What is it something with Notre Dame? Is it something with the coaches? That's what I don't understand because Notre Dame has gone through coordinators like crazy the last
Well,
10, 20 years.
here's the answer. That's just college football. That's even NFL football. This really isn't anything new, and so many people. And I'm not putting you down, but
Mm-hmm.
so many people are treating this like it's a new thing. See, your offensive, your all your coordinators, offensive, defensive, special teams coach, tight ends coach, whoever, they are not going to, as at least as a coordinator anyway, they're not going to stay with a program for a long period of time.
Well, I don't mean that. I mean more of like with Tommy Rees, it wasn't the money. He went to Alabama for Alabama. Why? Why is that? He's getting the same job, the same amount of pay. The only difference is it's a different team colors, and you got Nick Saban on as the head coach. What does Tommy Rees see in Alabama that he doesn't think he can get at Notre Dame?
I think it's because with his particular situation, I think he has a chance to work with Nick Saban. And let's face it, Nick Saban has the winning formula right now.
Do you think it's kind of let me ask you this. Brian Kelly obviously hired Reese.
Yeah.
That was a Brian Kelly hire. That was his guy. Um, do you think Brian Kelly leaving last year and saying, Notre Dame has quote unquote um, limitations that I can't recruit there. I left for LSU because it was a better job, better chance at a national title, better recruiting. Do you think when that got out there, Brian Kelly, I'm not saying I agree with it, but I'm saying a coach of his stature, whether or not you like the man or not, he's one of the most winningest coaches in football, in college football history. He's the winningest coach in Notre Dame history. So take it for what it's worth. But do you think him saying that when leaving has kind of become the narrative now around Notre Dame in terms of the coaching positions?
Well, first off, I mean, I think people read way too much into that because you got to remember too, Brian Kelly was also saying, hey, when we go out recruiting, we lay out who we are. Notre Dame, you got to go to class, you got to live in the dorm, you got to do this. And maybe he's just doing that for the typical talk. I don't know. But that it doesn't matter because everybody has always known what Notre Dame is long before anything came into play, like the the NIL deals and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, it's never been a secret what Notre Dame is. The state saying that it's not a 4-year plan, it's a 40-year plan. They have stuck by that. That's never been anything new. But what it really is you want people, or people want the standards lowered, because, and I'm not saying that people are dumb or anything like that, but Notre Dame is a hard school to get into. You have to have the grades, and it's not. Hell, even in the movie Rudy, when Rudy was talking to Father Kavanaugh, even Father Kavanaugh said, "Hey, this university, it's not for everybody."
Do you think that's what's pushing coaches away? Do you think that's what's been pushing coaches away for years?
I
Is
don't
that?
know. I don't know. Maybe so. Maybe that could be a factor. But the thing is, we've gotten top-notch athletes even with
Mm-hmm.
the
Now
the requirements.
you could argue it is the school's fault that we don't have 3 5 stars in the class right now in terms of the NIL and how they view that.
No,
But
I
but I'm saying because they're not giving Freeman the access to that, and I can tell that bothers Freeman. You can tell it bothers him, and especially on the national signing day, he even kind of brought it up that what this class should have been, but which is still a great class, but to think that I almost wonder if that does creep in because you think of it. If I'm Freeman, I'm doing all this work recruiting. I got 3 5 stars basically committed. One of them was silent committed, and the only reason I lose those kids is because they get offered more money by other schools. And the second thing is when I can't match that offer because Notre Dame isn't willing to allow me to because they view NIL as this dirty concept and it's cheating. I, that's where I almost is like I think Notre Dame needs to transition from this. I've always said this as a Notre Dame fan. I think Notre Dame has been caught up in what they were in the 80s and the 90s for years. And they thought they could just rest their laurels on that and it would just continue. Well, college football is changing, and I think Notre Dame needs to get with the program. I'm not saying lessen the standards because that Notre Dame degree should mean something for the rest of the kids that are non athletes. But I think that they need to, in terms of NIL, they need to stop getting. They need to get over this whole, we're a Catholic university, we're above this. This is a dirty concept
um,
because you're gonna. I know, Sean. This is just. I know you can disagree with me,
no 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 no
but
no 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 no. That's not it. That's not it. Um, well, let me just say this. I'm not going to um get anything political or religious going on here, but
mhm.
with things that I've seen on campus in recent years, they're kind of sliding away from the Catholic part. That's all I was going to say.
Okay,
So they're doing
but
they're doing that part on their own.
I'm saying this persona that the university puts up that you know we're above everybody and we need to we're this NIL thing that's dirty. We're not going to do that. Like, okay, if you're not going to do that, that's fine. But you got to also realize that there are going to be limitations on what players you can get into Notre Dame because of that. You have to
Well, the thing
understand that and be
is,
willing to accept that.
well, the thing is, I mean, the guys that we lost, I mean, clearly they made the requirements to get into the university, but yeah, I mean, whether the offer wasn't strong enough as far as the NIL goes, I don't know. But in the end, two things here. First off, I think that is a good thing that they still try to push that. It's
Mm.
not a 4-year deal, it's a
Yes.
40-year deal, because hey, regardless of what sport you're playing, you know, you're not going to play it forever. Your playing days are eventually going to end, and you better have something to fall back on.
It's
But
just.
two,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was saying, but two, regardless of the NIL situation, these kids, they're gonna, in the end, it's their choice.
Mm.
Even if we were to match NIL deals, If they want to go to a place like, I don't know, Alabama, Ohio State, USC, whatever, then they're going to go there.
Yeah,
Because I think a part of it's not just money for these kids. I mean, yeah, they still have a ways to mature yet.
Bowen was a mixture of the money and the fact that his girlfriend plays at Oklahoma. Keon was just strictly because of the money. Whether or not he wants to say that, his mom publicly admitted it. So and tried deleting the tweet. So I
Yeah.
mean,
So it's the NIL factor, but there's also all that other stuff involved in it as well. So it's not just strictly the NIL factor. I mean, yeah, Notre Dame does need to open up to that a little bit and understand that's how the NIL.
That's how that's how college football works now.
It's here to stay.
Mm.
It's here to stay. But of course, I give them credit as well because look at the guys that they have gotten. Despite what they've lost, look at what they've also gotten.
Mm. And it pisses me off.
You can't win with.
It pisses me off though, Sean, because you see all the national media saying, "Oh, well, this class is a typical Brian Kelly class."
No, it's not.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. You tell me if Brian Kelly's the head coach, we land CJ Carr or Cam Williams or all these guys. Like,
most likely not. So the bottom line is, no, I agree with you. The NIL is here to stay. Notre Dame does need to change their approach to that part. But should you stop and just completely drop the the academic standards and the importance on academics and education? No, don't stop that. But you kind of got to have the best of both worlds here when it comes to that.
Is that, by the way, Sean, Walter's comment, is that true that they lowered the academic standards when Lou Holtz was the coach?
Apparently so, I guess. And by the way, to everybody who's watching right now, you look, excuse me, you look in the chat section at the top is the link to StreamYard if you want to get in here and talk to us. We are having fans on, so this is your opportunity.
But Sean, that's the one thing I've been trying to figure out as a Notre Dame fan. Obviously I wasn't born then, but from my mom and my grandpa, and my great grandpa, they are all like, I'm a fourth generation Notre Dame fan. And I've been trying to figure this out. So the way Notre Dame recruited under Lou Holtz and Ara Parsegan, they didn't have like sites and stuff back then, but Notre Dame was the place that was like Alabama back then. They got everybody and anybody. If you were a top talent in high school, you went to Notre Dame.
Well,
what's changed from then? What's changed from then, from the 80s, 90s to now, where Notre Dame has kind of fallen in terms of that standard?
It's a mixture of a lot of things. I mean, first off, after Lou Holtz left, we went into what turned out to be a downward spiral. I mean, they hired from within back then, and Bob Davie became the head coach, and things he tried to do the same thing that Lou Holtz did, and that's the game hadn't really changed too much then, but again, it was Bob Davie thought the same stuff could work like it did back in the 80s, and obviously it didn't. Then after he got fired, they originally wanted to go with George O'Leary, but he had the stuff with his resume and all that controversy. So they went with Ty Willingham, and Ty Willingham, I don't know. Well, actually, one thing I know with Ty Willingham was this: his first class
was really good.
There was only 8 guys, I believe, that even had a single star next to their name. So he wasn't exactly. I mean, yeah, he was able to go out and get guys like Brady Quinn and I think Raymond McKnight he was responsible for, and Maurice Stovall. So he got some good players, but he couldn't get enough guys to match.
Mm-hmm.
But it just, so I think recruiting was his problem. And that's just my opinion.
It is crazy to think though that Notre Dame could have had Randy Moss at one point.
Yeah.
That's insane.
But I'm just going by each coach since Lou Holtz. So I think maybe there's other factors that I'm missing here, but Ty Willingham, his tenure was a mess. It just, I don't know if you can just pinpoint it to recruiting, but I think there was a inconsistent um, game plans and so on. And then of course you get Charlie Weiss, and Charlie impacted the change in the offense instantly. I mean, it looked great, but then things started to fall off. And I think maybe what the problem with Charlie was he focused way too much on offense and not enough on defense.
So, I mean, do you think Notre Dame because from my understanding, it wasn't until Brian Kelly came in and Brian Kelly saw the stadium, he saw the facilities, and he went to the administration and said, "Hey, you guys are like 30 years behind in terms of the facilities. You guys don't have a jumbotron in the stadium."
Yeah.
And the administration's excuse was, well, that's the tradition. It's Notre Dame. That's what people come. And he said, okay, I understand that and I respect the tradition. But we're in the 20th, we're in the 2000s now. At the time it was 2010. Kids want the facilities. Fans don't want to sit on a 50 old stadium that's like that, and that's why they built that indoor facility.
I was pushing for that stuff years ago. I was wanting to see that in Notre Dame too. And
so
also,
do you think that was like the lack of attention to the facilities in the football stadium, was that because they didn't care about football, or because they thought that they could just rest their laurels on what they were in the 90s and the 80s and before then?
I'm sure that had a lot to do with it. But the thing is too, they didn't play night games for the longest time either. It wasn't until Brian Kelly got there that they started playing night games in the stadium again. But for the longest time, it was just afternoon games. And so I think that was a big part of it as well, as not playing the primetime games at home. So that's something that people have got to give credit to Brian Kelly for, is, he pushed to get all this stuff into the stadium, to get the field turf, the jumbotron, and
the indoor facility. That
people complain about the indoor facilities, but they're still fairly new.
The one for the football one, I think that's beautiful. I've been inside of it. It's, in my opinion, it's really nice. It's right by the lacrosse stadium, and it's beautiful, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. It is. And also, real quick, if anybody doesn't see it, I'm pasting it here in the live chat. There is the link to join the show with us and share.
I think they're scared to talk to us, Sean.
Well, I was kind of hoping that some of the people from a couple of the Facebook groups that I help out with, I was arguing with a couple of them last night. I was hoping they'd show up, but we're like 25 minutes in, or well, just about, and none of them have showed up. And I give like people who I argue with, and I probably shouldn't even bother with morons in the first place. I really shouldn't, but unfortunately, it is a bad habit of mine to. But just when you see people say so many stupid things, it's like you can't help but just you want to tell these people off. But of course, you can't reason with them. It's a wasted effort. But let's check out some of the comments. BVD says, "Yo, Sean, slobs are coming in 2 weeks. See you there, LOL." He's referencing the Slob Olympics. That's something that a lot of other people in the community do, where they get together and they do silly events and stuff like that.
Oh my God.
Come on, man. Do you really think I'd go to one of those? I mean, obviously nothing against you, BVD, or any of the other cool people there, but I don't want to end up in jail for assault. I'll just say that. And he knows why. But yeah, so I mean, you make some good points, Ryan, with how the university has kind of taken its time making the changes over the years. But I'll say this in regards to the current situation with people calling the university cheap and whatnot, because when they thought that Notre Dame wasn't going to pay the buyout for Coach Ludwig, let me just say this: what they did to that stadium in the last couple of years, the renovations.
Wasn't
Do you
cheap.
really, do you really think they're going to be afraid to spend money?
Nope. And I believe Freeman just got them to install a brand new turf for next year.
Yeah,
I believe, yeah.
yeah, I believe so. Or it was just this past season that they did it. But I knew that they were talking about doing that.
And they
But
made the logo stand out more. I like it's a lot. It's not as like kind of faded. And it's it's newer and I still wish Notre Dame would put stuff in the end zone. I still like
they
I understand that the whole lines and stuff, but
they actually did back in the day. They put a picture of the dome.
that would be so cool. I don't know what is the university's whole thing against putting paint in the end zone.
Well, see, there's a cool story with the slashes. Did you know about
Uh
that at all?
no.
So in each end zone, there's 9 slashes,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all those slashes are at a 42-degree angle facing towards the dome, the golden dome.
Oh, okay.
So 9 plus 9 is 18. The 42-degree angle, that means 1842, the year the university was founded.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's why they haven't just gone to putting like the leprechaun or whatever in
It
the.
would just be so cool for them to have like Fighting Irish there or Notre Dame. Like I like how it looks like when we go to the bowl games and they have our stuff on that. Like I like that. I don't
Mhm.
know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I don't want to
No,
piss
no,
off
no.
any old heads or anything that like tradition, but
Let me tell you. No, 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 Ryan. Let me tell you something about old timers. So all these Karens, for lack of a better term, the ones that I argue with, of that, the 1% that I've talked about, the ones that are constantly complaining about the team, constantly trashing the team, have no faith in the team whatsoever. Believe it or not, a lot of the ones that I have talked to, they're all older folks, which surprises the hell out of me because you think the older folks would have
appreciation.
well, yeah, not appreciation, but you think they would have the most positivity, the most optimism. And according to some people, I'm just me being supporting the team unconditionally
Mm.
and sticking up for them, sticking up for the new hires, actually giving the new hires a chance. That makes me holier than thou and the one that just looks through the Coke bottle glasses.
Uh,
Oh, you should
see,
you should see.
see.
So
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to get back on track here, talking about the Ludwig situation,
Mm.
and it's just the thing is, when it was first announced that Ludwig wasn't coming to Notre Dame, and Notre Dame apparently didn't want to pay his buyout, that there was an issue with that. I'm thinking, oh, holy crap, he doesn't want to come here. This sucks. But I just had a gut feeling that there was more to it than just Notre Dame not wanting to pay his buyout, which is why I'm always glad that I wait to see what kind of other stuff comes out. And then
Mm-hmm.
and then in that time, you see Notre Dame fans trashing the team, well, not the team, but trashing the administration, wanting Jack Swarbrick fired. I mean, the comments across social media and the stupid articles that I've seen written, just absurd. And now that it's been released that, okay, Notre Dame was going to pay the buyout, which in total I think would have cost like over $4 million.
Well, not just that. The deal also was that they were going to hire Andy Ludwig, and then when Harry Heastand retired, they were also going to bring over the O line coach from Utah, and his buyout,
I
what
did
I
see
believe
that.
was 2 million, 2.1. So in total, it would have been around 7 million or so to get both
Okay.
of them bought out.
And all I know is I don't know for sure about the offensive line coach, but
Mm-hmm.
I know for sure with Ludwig they were going to pay his buyout, and but what I'm getting at is that news comes out, and now you see all how foolish all these people look.
It was because his daughter, wasn't it? I just can look that up a little bit.
I didn't exactly look up why he wanted to stay in
It was
Utah.
a lot of people are
But
saying it was because his daughter is a student at Utah,
okay, I didn't
um,
know that.
and he got cold feet
Yeah, he got
later
cold
on.
feet, and a big part of it too is I guess he has one hell of a deal at Utah right now.
He's not getting paid the amount of money he'd get paid at Notre Dame, but they just won back-to-back Pac-12 titles. So,
Well, all I know is I can say this: the people that say that Notre Dame's cheap and they don't bust out the wallet, you people have no idea what the hell you're talking about, and
yeah.
everything that I've said the past couple days in these arguments with supposed Notre Dame fans, I stand by everything I said.
But and now, Sean, let's get into the hires that they did make. The in-house
Yes,
hire,
promoting
which
Jared Parker, tight end coach, is now
yep,
our offensive coordinator.
and they hired I can't say his last name.
Oh, the dude from Wisconsin,
Yes,
as quarterbacks
who was
coach.
also he was the OC and the quarterbacks coach at Cincinnati when Desmond Ritter took Cincinnati to the playoff. So him and Freeman have worked together before, so that's familiarity. Thing I noticed, and I read an article today from Blue and Gold that at least the Ben guy, he loves recruiting. He's like Freeman, but just for offense. And they said that is a huge get. That's one of the main reasons Luke Fickell brought him to Wisconsin, is because he's a guy that's a little younger, loves to recruit, and is a grinder. So that's something I really like to hear. And Jared Parker's the same way, from what I understand.
Well, and with Jared Parker, I get, of course, I look up, his track record like everybody else does, and I get it. He's had some bumps in the road like a lot of coaches do.
Mm-hmm.
But people talk about his when he was with West Virginia,
Mm-hmm.
and they were talking about how the team sucked with him. No, they actually improved. You go look at the numbers; they improved on offense. And when he was the interim head coach, I'm pretty sure he went 4-2. But the bottom line is, it's not about the past; it's about the present and the future going forward.
Mm-hmm. And
And
I'm still excited to see what he does with Sam Hartman.
That's you kind of beat me to the punch there. But I was going to say, you've got a tight ends coach now as your offensive coordinator. So now you can formulate a game plan, and this is the stuff that people don't think about that actually could be a big time benefit.
Mm-hmm.
You can coordinate. He can coordinate with Chancey Stuckey, our wide receivers coach, to put a game plan together that could blow other defenses out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much he can do here. And so, but what I'd like to know from, the fan, because you hear a lot of our fans saying, "Oh, well," and Ryan, this is what I'm supposed to believe as a true Notre Dame fan. Mm-hmm. You have fans saying like, "Oh, well, we're 7-5. Here we come. We're gonna suck. What qualifies a tight end coach to be an offensive coordinator? This university can't evolve with the times. Blah 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 blah." So these people constantly crap on the team. Mm-hmm. Every time that's all they say is they crap on the team, and it's because we haven't won a national championship in 35 years, and this and that. Well, let me just say this: there's a lot of programs, a lot of big name programs that haven't won a national championship in a while. Georgia, until recently, until last year, they hadn't won a national championship in 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what?
They won back to back.
Yeah, they've won back to back. They have the pieces in place. I mean, they could do a three-peat. Why not? They've got.
If anything, it's after Bryce Young and DJ left Clemson. I mean, you could argue that Georgia has an easier path to the playoff this next season than they did this year. So, I mean.
This is not me trashing, because I have a couple of obviously Magnum, and there's a couple other Georgia fans that are good people, good friends of mine. But I think even they'd tell you that there's some teams on there that they probably wish they weren't on there. Like, that's how I feel with Tennessee State. I wish Tennessee State was not on our schedule.
Let's just say it right now, Georgia's going to go 12-0. You can just say it. Like, that's going to happen next year.
I think so. Yeah. One quick comment from Ben. Ben here is watching us. Until Notre Dame wins a natty, people will complain about everything, including those in and out of the fan base. You know what? He's right. But let me just add something
No, they'll
to
still
that.
complain after we win a national
Yes,
championship.
because going back to Georgia for a second, they've won back-to-back national championships. You still got people complaining about something. Like, and most of it's
Or
about
saying Stetson Bennett is still a fraud.
yes, shit like that. I mean, those people are. I mean, really, there's people that they bitch just to bitch. Nothing will ever be good enough for them. It's like I've used this analogy a lot, but these are probably the people that would beat their kids with a belt because they only got an A instead of an A plus. I mean, really, it's ridiculous. And but yeah, I'm still surprised nobody wants to come in and talk to us yet.
Yeah, I am too. Maybe nobody likes us, Sean.
I guess not.
But no,
here it is again, people. I'll keep posting it.
What overall do you think about the hire? Because I was like questioning it at first because I'm like, I really don't know how I feel about a tight ends coach when we just got sick and tired as a fan base watching Drew Pine only throw it to Michael Mayer all season.
Well, here's the difference. I know people are calling this a competition, and yes, you have to. And I'm even going to call it one too because I like Tyler Buchner. I think he's a good kid, but let's just be real. Sam Hartman, yeah, he's a great quarterback. He's one of the ACC's all-time best for a reason,
Yep. But I will say this though, really quick, just because of the Jared Parker, hire, and for all those people that like sports betting, I'm going to say it right now. Bet your money on Mitchell Evans being an 1,000-yard receiver because Jared Parker loves throwing to his tight ends. And I'm sure he's going to make sure Mitchell Evans gets a lot of catches next season.
I did see a comment that caught my mind. Then I'll get right back on track here. Big Valdetti said, nah, I like the slashes when we were talking about that in the end zones. I used to hate it, but it's a tradition like Penn State's ugly ass unis.
Hey, you know what? Penn State has some clean uniforms. I know people give them crap for it, but I like the all white with just the blue numbers. I know it's basic, but would I like to see the Nittany Lion on the helmet? Probably. Will they ever do it? No.
No, probably not. But like I was saying, I think that'll change though with Jared Parker because he now has a quarterback that he can work with. He has a quarterback that's taller that can. I'm not trying to disrespect Drew Pine now. All of a sudden, I'm not. But he was short. He was short. I mean, he had trouble. You could tell he had trouble seeing over the line at times. He had a lot of passes batted down at the line, and now he's going to have a quarterback coming in that he can do something with and not really have to worry about that. But no, with him and with Hartman and Buchner, I'm sorry, Sam Hartman's not coming here to ride the bench.
Yeah.
So I get it. You want to give Buchner that confidence, but I think it's safe to say we all know that that Hartman's most likely going to be the starting quarterback.
Oh yeah, and the thing that's nice about Hartman, and the difference I think other people don't realize, Hartman in terms of also like you say Drew Pine. A lot of times what he did was there was a play called, and he did what he was supposed to on the play. Like he had one read, he threw it to that read. Anything else outside of that, he rarely did. The thing that you get with Hartman is that he brings this cachet. He's a veteran. He's played quarterback for 5 seasons now.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't think that Jared Parker calls a play and Sam Hartman sees something that the defense is doing, he's going to have the authority to change that play if he wants to. That is something that Pine didn't have the authority to do as a backup quarterback, which I think will also benefit this Notre Dame offense a lot because one of the things I've heard a lot from, NFL scouts and coaches in general about Hartman is he's really freaking smart. and he's really good at calling audibles at the line of scrimmage, and he's really good at reading formations on defense. When you have a quarterback like that who can pick apart your defense and know what defense you're in at all times, that benefits you so much. And a lot of people, I don't see a lot of people enough people talking about that.
No, I don't. I don't either. And I mean, granted, it was a different kind of offense that they ran at Wake Forest too. But you can just tell with this guy that he's a leader. He knows how to process things. He knows how to make the smart decisions.
And I also like the fact that he's been in the gym since he got to Notre Dame. I don't know if you've seen the video that Notre Dame football posted. Dude sitting there benching like 400 pounds as a quarterback. I'm like,
I didn't see that, but
yeah, man. I'm like, man, I like this guy as a quarterback. But no, evidently he's been him, Buckner and Jelly and Minchie talk every day. He's been taking them under his wing. Him and Tyler Buckner evidently have become close friends and hang out all the time. So I also like it from that standpoint because you get a lot of veteran quarterbacks that, think their shit doesn't stink. They come to a new place and they don't like to, talk and take the younger guys under their wing and prepare them for when it's their time. That gives me even more confidence when Sam Hartman leaves after the season that Buckner is going to be even better of a quarterback.
Yeah.
Sitting behind a guy like Hartman that has that, moxie. He's a top 5 quarterback in college football right now. Imagine how that's going to help Buckner sitting behind him, learning from him, learning reads, learning how to identify defenses, learning not to force balls. That was one of the things about Buckner that I didn't like this year is that he forced things at times. That comes with experience, which I think he's going to get a lot of sitting behind Hartman.
Yeah, and the thing is with Buckner, he's still going to be there for potentially a couple more years if he doesn't transfer or something, because Sam Hartman's only going to be there for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
So after his year with us is up, you got to have somebody ready to go after him. That's just, that's coaching 101 when it comes to quarterbacks. But but you're right. It's great because a guy's actually willing to help somebody out, even though that guy could get the job. I mean, and you have to be politically correct here on that.
Yeah.
And that you could be the one riding the bench, and he's, the one that you helped is starting.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, yeah. So we've got 16 minutes left, people. I just actually sent the link to the Facebook.
So if you guys want to ask us questions, hang out, talk with us for about 15, 16 minutes, click that link and come in here.
Here's the thing: typing gets cheap after a while.
Yep.
And I'm cool with our regular viewers coming on, but I want to see the people that I was arguing with come on. I just actually posted the link to get in here on that Facebook page, on that group.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if anybody takes
we've got 13 people watching right now.
Yeah, well, 11 now according to my screen, but whatever. Who cares? Doesn't matter. But anyway, so quick question here. We'll answer this one. So is Jared? Is it Gerard or Jared?
Jared.
Okay, that's what I thought. Is Jared Parker just the pick because we won't buy out a contract, or is he actually going to be the guy for the? He's the offensive coordinator now, and also like we said, Notre Dame did not refuse the buyout. They were going to pay Andy Ludwig's buyout, but Andy Ludwig is the one who got cold feet and decided not to come.
And people also have to realize that Tommy Rees left Notre Dame at a really bad time. Mm-hmm. Because at that time, most of the top offensive coordinator candidates had already signed with other teams. So you can't blame Notre Dame when they had a very limited pool to begin with of candidates.
And a couple things. Ryan, you are the only one in the past couple of days that I've heard say that Notre Dame dodged a bullet with Andy Ludwig. Yeah. I was shocked when I heard that from you.
I really do. I mean, I like his on-the-field stuff, but if you look at his track record everywhere he's been, now, mind you, are any of those places as close to Notre Dame in terms of being an elite program and, having that recruiting cachet? No. But he said numerous times himself that he doesn't like to recruit, which to me is an instant turnoff.
Well, I get. I mean, I get that. Like you said earlier. I'm just saying. I'm just strictly saying you were the only one that I've heard say that in the past 24/7. Well, 2 days actually.
And I've been called an idiot and all that stuff, and all on the message boards for being positive about it and liking the hires, but.
Yeah, but like I said earlier, when the fans that crap on the team all the time and complain and this and that, I'm supposed to believe that they're the true fans. And this one guy said to me, well, it's not like the answer to you, Sean. Who are you to say anything? I'm like, I'm a true fan who supports the team. I don't deny when things go bad. I don't deny it. But I'm not going to just poo-poo everything either and be a little bitch about it. We have a caller. Well, a caller. We have a guest. Long-time viewer Walter. Let's hear your thoughts.
Up,
not much. Let's hear your thoughts.
About the
just whatever.
All right. I think I actually am shocked to hear what he had to say that Notre Dame dodged the bullet on the Utah offensive coordinator. I'll admit that at first I thought Notre Dame was being some cheapskates and thought they did not want to pay the dude, but then after listening to you guys, it's like, all right, I was wrong. The dude just didn't want to come.
Well, it's not just us. I mean, there were articles that released the news saying that, Andy Ludwig was the one who said no and got cold feet. So, I mean, it's not coming from us.
Suit yourself, Andy. But I do wonder if Tyler Buchner is going to stay, after next season.
I think he will, just because he's almost guaranteed the job for next season once Hartman leaves. I think it's pretty much a guarantee.
He showed his true potential in the bowl game. The thing he just needs to clean up is you got to remember the guys in gold helmets are who you throw the ball to. But that second one, I put that on Tommy. He should have ran the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, Walter, are you happy with Jared Parker and Notre Dame going internally for their search?
Well, I trust Freeman, and I'm not going to complain on who they get as an assistant as long as as long as it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's nothing that says that Parker can't end up being a great offensive coordinator.
My thing is also those people that, complain about us not getting Andy Ludwig. Like I said, I think they dodged a bullet because I think the recruiting aspect would have taken a big dip, which Notre Dame fans have been complaining about for years is the recruiting on the offensive side of the ball. Well, when Notre Dame gets a 5-star quarterback for 2025 or 2026 because of Jared Parker, those same people that said, "Oh, well, he wasn't the top guy, or he wasn't the priority. He was just a kind of a guy that they just settled on." Okay, those people will have to delete those comments and admit that they were wrong because, according to what I've read, Jared Parker is the one that's heavily recruiting the 2025 quarterback, wide receivers, and tight ends. So,
really?
So he's the one that's had a connection with them, not Reese. And not any of the other offensive guys. He's the one that's been doing that. So people need to give that man some credit. It's not like he's a guy that some bum we just hired off the street and said, "Hey, you want to be the offensive coordinator at Notre Dame?"
Notre Dame doesn't just hire anyone. They'd be crazy if they hired just anyone.
Yeah, I mean, you have to do your due diligence on somebody, and also sometimes, in my opinion, I think hiring internally can be an advantage that you can't get with somebody from the outside. Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't have liked to have had Andy Ludwig or what's his name, that Klein from Kansas State.
Colin Klein, yeah.
Yeah, I think they would have been great additions, but I'm not going to complain about hiring somebody from within where I think there's an advantage because obviously I think this past season, correct me if I'm wrong, was Parker's first year with us. So him and Marcus Freeman have been working together for a year. I'd like to think they know each other pretty well by now.
They do. Oh, Freeman and Jared Parker worked together previously at Purdue.
Oh, okay.
So they've worked together
okay.
for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, so they know each other pretty well. And again, I'd like to think that Marcus Freeman did his due diligence in this. But of course, I mean, season hasn't arrived yet. We got to see what the offense looks like when it gets here. But all I'm saying is I think it's very fair to give this guy a chance and not just dog him like a lot of our fans are doing. I mean, it's disgraceful what I've seen in the past couple days.
I mean, give the assistants a shot. It's not like, I can understand being concerned on who you hire as a head coach, but when it comes to assistants, relax.
What it
Let them
is,
show what they can do.
what it is with all these people in our fan base that have been nonstop complaining and shitting on the team, this is what it comes down to. They're just pissed off because they didn't get the guy that they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. So, anything else you want to add, Walter?
I mean, I'm not going to complain about who they hire as an assistant because, like I said, I don't know how good they are because I only follow, what the head coach can do. But the one thing I should say, like, if we don't get what we want, all right, let's try to find the next best thing we can find. We have no time to complain.
Exactly. And these were spots that we had to fill, and I think Freeman's just doing the best that he can with what's available to him. So, well, Walter, it was nice talking to you and having you on.
To you.
And we're not trying to just cut you up. We want to see if we can get other people in this last weeks or so.
It was good. It was fun being on here. I would like to do this again soon.
Yep. Well, there's always another show next week.
All right. See you later, guys.
Yep,
see you, bud. All right. Like I said, we got 10 minutes left. Anybody want to come in here and talk to us? Again,
while we wait, Sean, we might as well answer some of these questions in the chat.
Yeah. I wanted to get to one that our friend Robert had to say, and this was oh, hold on. Yep, no, this is the right one. Yeah, Bob said Buckner often stared down as number one, and if not open, he'd run. However, he was better in the Gator Bowl. Yeah, he was. I mean, he threw 3 picks, but he also accounted for 5 touchdowns.
You also got to understand, Buckner had no pressure on him in the Gator Bowl. I understand us as fans wanted to win that game, but in terms of the amount of pressure, I'd argue Buckner had more pressure on him in the first 2 games of the season than he did in that Gator Bowl. I really do. And I think he played tense in those first 2 games because he was a first-time starter, didn't want to screw up, wanted to make the big plays, even though it wasn't there. He forced stuff too much. And I honestly, I'm not wishing anybody injured, but I think the injury benefited him because it kind of gave him time to sit back, watch some tape, watch what he did wrong, and fix it in the Gator Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. One comment I saw here from Craig Sebring, another longtime viewer. A, coaching, and B, the administration is so against. No, come on, man. No, the administration is not against football. Football is a big time moneymaker. So they're going to put as much as they can in.
Now, if you want to say Notre Dame doesn't care about basketball, men's basketball, we can go there because they haven't really cared about basketball. Yeah, they have not cared about basketball the last 5 years.
I mean, one of the most recognizable private universities that has such a rich football tradition. You think they're really going to not care about? Come on, man. I'm not putting you down, but they're not against football.
Yeah.
But I mean, they showed that they were willing to pay the buyout for Ludwig, but Ludwig backed out. It's not so why, and also like we said earlier, all the stuff that they put into the field, in the facilities. But at the same time, you got to keep in mind too, they're not going to put money just into football. They're going to put money into their other sports as well. But Yes. Bob says that you nailed it, Ryan. So many so-called Irish fans forget the Irish started last season with quarterbacks that did not start in the quarterback room.
Mm-hmm.
But now, guys, we got a few minutes left. Anybody want to get on and talk? I'm very surprised. Like I said, the Facebook page where I was getting into it with some people, none of them want to come on.
Because they know they're wrong, Sean. That's why.
Well, and I mean, they probably don't want to show their face on camera. And that's the thing. We're not requiring anybody to show their face on camera, but you can at least get on here and actually talk instead of type with us or type to us. But no, just for the record, though, the Facebook group that I'm talking about, I actually help the creator of it run it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great site. There's a lot of great people on there. A lot of great people on there. A lot of true Irish fans that, don't act like the quote unquote realists who shit on the team all the time. But it's just, even on it's called just I want to give them a shout out here. Notre Dame Nation Fight of the Irish. I am proud to be on that page and working with them, but you get some assholes.
Mm-hmm.
You get some assholes. I actually had one dude say it, him and his boys, BOYZ, which what is this, the freaking 1990s? Who spells boys like that? That him and his boys were going to beat me down, and that I'm on his radar. Now, does that mean that he has something for me? Like, is he taking a fancy to me, or what does that mean? This guy told me I was on his radar.
I think you were making him a little happy, Sean.
Oh God, I hope not. I really hope not.
But really quick, we should answer some of these questions while we get a chance.
All right.
I guess we can get off.
Are you able to click on them and bring them up on the screen?
No, I'm not.
Okay, let's see here. Covered that. Oh, this is one I missed from Ben earlier. I totally dig our schedule. We got a few games to get ourselves ready for Ohio State. I'd rather have Tennessee State instead of a Michigan or MSU just because of having OSU on the horizon.
Yep.
And he's got a point.
But although we do have NC State like week 2, which is a trap game. Let's not kid ourselves. That's going to be on the road at a ranked team in a hostile environment.
I will say, yes, I agree that this schedule, people have dogged that too. But this schedule is trap game central. A lot of teams on there that are capable of beating us. And yeah.
I think a lot of people get caught up in NC State was kind of terrible until the last couple of seasons. They had the 2015 year, they were really good. But I mean, they kind of had some down years. I think people get caught up in the Duke. Duke hasn't been very good. Well, they went 9-4 last year, the same as Notre Dame. Pitt was just in the ACC title game 2 seasons ago. So, that's not the scoff at. People need to realize that schedule is surrounded, because you've got the big three, Ohio State, USC, Clemson. Surrounding that are really good teams.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even Duke is not to be taken lightly.
And as we've seen this year, Stanford evidently is not to be taken lightly.
No, we just screwed that one up. So let's see. Where was it? Where was that one comment here? So the Sean K says, so does Freeman have another average season missing, or is it up from here? I think it's up.
I think it's New Year's 6 or bust. I really do. I think with Hartman, it's New Year's 6 or bust.
And then he also says, yeah, but with the transfer portal, nothing is for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
And then, Sean has a few comments here. Oh, he could. Everyone hated Reese, and he was good enough for the best college football coach in the world to take as his OC. And then, do
I think Nick Saban's the best coach now? No, I think Kirby Smart's better.
But Kirby's. Well, yeah, Kirby's taken he's the king of the hill. I mean, his team's won back-to-back national titles. As much as everyone hated Reese, he left with a winning record, and he was internal hire. I'd say he was a good hire. Yeah, he did. Just, I've gotten on Tommy before, and I even said that he should have been in the hot seat, but rightfully so. I didn't just say like, oh, he doesn't deserve a chance to redeem himself. But that's the thing. I love this team, but I'm also going to be consistent. I'm going to tell the truth also. And when Reese or anybody else screws up, I'm going to say so. And yes, that is true. He did leave with a winning record. And I guess this is in regards to Parker, but he also did have the best tight end in the country to throw to. Or he says didn't. I'm sorry, didn't.
Oh, Sam Hart, or is he talking about Sam Hartman, or is he talking about Buckner? Or is he talking about Buckner in that game against the Gator Bowl, I believe. He's saying he didn't have Mayer.
Okay, yeah. Then he says, "Do you think part of that is coming to coach for a first-time head coach only one season in?"
I don't know, because Dan Lanning's got some pretty top guy. He got a top offensive coordinator candidate in that a lot of people wanted, and he's a second-year head coach coming off his first season. I don't think that really matters.
This is not football related, but Bob says, my wife says I'm not an asshole, just sphincterly challenged. We can see. I don't know how often you've noticed Bob, but Bob's been a long-time supporter of ours. He always tunes in when he can, and I've actually met him in person. Bob, you're an awesome dude. He is always great for a laugh.
Well, that's a great way to end it there, Sean.
Yeah. Again, I'm surprised. I was looking forward to this for the past couple of days. That's how long we've been promoting this, and I'm surprised not one jerk off from Facebook came to accept the challenge to actually talk to me, because you can only type so much. But no, I'm just the guy with looking through the Coke bottle glasses, or however that saying goes, because I'm actually optimistic. I'm actually optimistic about my team. I actually support them unconditional. And
hey, Sean, I think I'm a little too optimistic. I have us in the playoff next year, so.
Oh, you're just a moron fan. You're not realistic. You're not a realist.
I really quick, because I do gotta go like right now. But
yeah, I know.
I had in my playoff for next year. I had Notre Dame. This is not in any particular order. Notre Dame, Georgia, Oregon, and Michigan. So,
ooh, interesting.
Yeah, I think Michigan makes it again.
No Alabama, huh?
No Alabama. The quarterback situation is too, the guy's starting for the first time, so we'll see what he has first.
All right. Well, then, on that note, hey, everybody on the Facebook page, the jerk offs that were arguing with me and trying to quote call me out, the ones who think that shitty fans are actually good fans, you had your chance. I gave it to you. So nobody. I mean, I'm this dope in their eyes, but they don't want to come talk to me.
Yep,
it's funny how that works. But anyway, Ryan, I know you got to go right now, but this was a fun stream. Yep. Thank you to everybody who participated. Well, Walter was the only one who actually came on here to talk, but we'll say this. Thank you to everyone who participated in the live chat. Thank you to Walter who came on here and actually talked to us. And this was a lot of fun. I had a great time.
Same here.
So maybe we'll just go ahead and make this a regular thing where we let people come on.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
So, well, from now on, every edition of the Fighting Irish Power Hour will be a special edition. So, all right. Well, with that said, I'm Andy Sean 45.
And I'm Ryan Week 0 Productions for Vel.
Good night, everyone, and go Irish.